Good morning. This morning I'm going harvesting to save us some money on some firewood for the wood-fired stove. So I'm going to travel up the lane, and there are a few trees down that were suitable. They've been down 6 months or so, but also they were rotted out before I pushed them over, stop them falling on the track. So they should be seasoned, although the moisture content will be higher than desirable. But basically you're just going to go and harvest some, bring it down, stack it up and allow it to start to dry out, whether it's for soon or whether it's for next year. But it needs to come down and we'll go and find some timber. So there's one that's down. I do believe that's a fir tree. So not really good for wood burning indoors, although Joe has it in mind that we can use all pieces of timber like that structurally for other projects, so we will recover that one, but not today on our wood burning exercise. Firewood is what we're after today, not structural timbers. As you can see from the lane, it's relentless. 3 months of rain I think we've had now, all bar a few days here and there. It's made one hell of a mess of the lane, and this is despite my efforts of coming up and down the lane on the digger periodically and trying to stop the water running over the surface of it by diverting it off and down to the fields. So this middle section here is not so bad actually, but further up and further down is quite not really passable with normal motor vehicles. So I've just spotted a branch off an oak tree that's fallen, so that's a possibility. But if you look here on the left, you'll see there's a great big ash tree there that's fallen, but this one here had rotted away and was dropping its limbs all over the lane continuously. Rather than having limbs drop on Joe as she's coming home from work, or me either for that matter, I pushed it over with the digger. Didn't take a lot of effort. But that's ash timber, and apparently you can burn ash timber pretty much straight away, but this is actually seasoned because there's holes all the way through it where it has rotted out. So I'm going to go up and turn around so we're facing the right direction, and then I'll stand up on the banking and cut off pieces that are long enough to go straight in the wood burner. Good morning. So here we are back up at the fallen ash tree that we're harvesting for firewood. Our Makita battery chainsaw is a bit underpowered for what I'm trying to achieve. So it's cutting out because it's hot, and it's also got a limited blade length, so I can't cut the thicker of the trunk. So I'm just basically trying to harvest what I can. But there's, if you could see, I don't know, there's not a great deal left of the stump. It's a short amount left there, so I'm going to try and get a few more cuts off of this length here, but that's as big as the blade is on the saw, so I can't really cut any further into it there. And then also we have this piece here, the Y section where the trunk split. That's too big for the saw I've got at the moment with me. We do have bigger saws, but not with us at the moment, and they're petrol. So I'm trying to avoid the use of petrol chainsaws until necessary. So I'm going to cut up this last section here. I've got a bag full of freshly charged batteries, and obviously it's been left overnight now, so everything's nice and cool. Just need to put a slight new edge on the blade. For anybody watching out there who knows about sharpening chainsaw blades, you probably know more than I do. I do know about sharpening blades, but not chainsaw blades. So I sharpened it yesterday using a mini disc cutter, just to flick the edge over of the teeth, just so it was cutting and forming chips as opposed to dust, because when there's just dust coming out of them, they're not cutting very efficiently, and then you increase the danger level of things getting hot and snapping and causing injuries. So if it's cutting, forming chips, then it's cutting efficiently, and plus it takes less time to cut, and it's less stressful on the tool and myself. So I'll just pop you on the door of the van here, and I'll show you my bush fix of mend it in a field, sharpening of the chainsaw blade. I must get some round files. So here's the chainsaw, and if you look carefully at these teeth, I don't know if you can see it in this light, the teeth themselves, they're dulling over. This one here is just an example. So basically we just need to cut back at this angle here and that angle there, just to form, because these are not sharp to the touch. So this tooth here is angled that direction, and the next tooth is angled at the opposite direction. So if we come up underneath with the blade there and just clean that edge there, it improves the cut. Just going to tension the blade slightly. It's got a little bit more sag than I would think is wise. Not a huge amount of sag, but just gonna tension it very slightly. That's the way I like it. Gotta have some give. Don't do it too tight because it will strain the pulleys on the ends and the like. and unfortunately I haven't got the correct tools with me. It seems everything I want is in my storage locker, which is miles away, because we've still not got the lane, especially after this winter's storms, passable enough to get us a shipping container down here. So what I'm doing periodically is tensioning the blade and greasing it up. So basically, the thing I like about a battery saw is it's light. It doesn't need to be fired up. And it's quite easily greased. So there's oil in the oil reservoir for the chain oil, but I also like to grease it as well, just to give it that extra bit of lubrication to start with. As you can see now, it's nice and free. So I'm just going to pop the time lapse on, and then you can watch. It shouldn't take more than half an hour, I'm hoping, just to clear up the last few of these pieces that are salvageable. Got quite a bit accumulating in the back. I did cut a little last night for the fire, because it's pre-season. Being ash, you're allowed to cut ash and burn it straight away, according to some people. I don't think it's that wise, but where needs must. But as this tree had died before it came down, I think it's started the season in place. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know differently, please leave a comment. So as you can see there, we're accumulating quite a stock, and that amount of timber for us to buy would probably cost us £200, I expect, by the time it's split and processed ready for the burner. So it's basically free fuel, although it does take time and effort to cut it. We have to weigh up whether I go to work, earn money and buy logs, or whether I stay here and process what's here. So I think it's more cost effective to process what's here. Plus, not all of what I cut at the moment will be used what's left of this winter, and a lot of it will be stored ready for next winter. So just working towards the fuel ready for next winter. So that's that done. Can't really get much more of that with this small saw. It's struggling. I think it's designed for lighter duties than we're using it for. And obviously a petrol one will have a lot more guts. But they're very dangerous, and because it's got more guts, there's no control. If something was to go wrong, it's going to cause havoc, whereas a battery one like stalls at the first sign of anything. So if the chain was to snap on a battery one, it's more likely to get jammed than to spin off. So this tree here, if you can see that one, when I pushed this one over, because it was dropping its limbs in the road and is obviously dead, there's huge holes in it. You can see it's rotten at the base, and it just pushed it over with a small digger. And it's quite a big tree, as you can see here. It's done. Well, that one there was the same, but I couldn't reach that with the arm of the digger. So I think while I'm here and I have plenty of batteries, it'd be a good idea to chop him, rather than find one morning or afternoon I get a call to say it's either on top of the car with Joe inside, or it's across the lane and she can't get in and out. So I'll fell that now. Obviously it's quite a tall tree, really. It's about 20 feet. But as you can see, there are no limbs left on it because they've all died and fell off. So it's basically a standing lump of firewood. So I'll move the van, I'll set the camera back up, and then I'll do my lumberjacking. So there we have it. The dodgy tree is down and it's mostly cut up, apart from a few gnarly bits. I'll use a bigger saw on at a later date, but now looks like we got a full load because those tyres are telling me that's enough. Yes, no more dead stud wood.
So here we are.
So here we are.
Indeed, so you've been very busy.
I've been chopping wood.
Yep, I filled the back of the tipper with that ash. Did you manage to get a bit of oak as well?
No, it's all ash. It's
All
load.
ash. Wonderful.
There was two ash trees. One was already down and the other one, you'll probably see it in the video, but it was completely dead. It died last year. There was no growth on it last year, so we know it was completely dead.
There's signs of ash dieback in it as well.
There are signs of it, yeah, and there's also like black puff balls on it. So I've googled that, and it's
That's King Arthur's cakes, isn't it?
that's the one, yeah. But it's to do with mites, and basically mites will kill the tree, and that's what they leave on it. King Arthur's cakes. There's a couple on there you can show later.
Yeah, I'll
Pick
get
up
them.
on those. So
Because they, I don't know if you know why they're called King Arthur's cakes.
no,
Right, they're little black things, so it's about, well, no, King Alfred's cakes. They're not King Arthur's cakes.
is it?
King Alfred's cakes, apparently he burnt some cakes, but anyway, it's because they're little black things, and if you set light to them, you can put them back in your pocket, they just smoulder away, and then you're able to go to some other place
Oh, we saw
and
that.
bring
on,
fire with you.
What was that chap's name?
I can't remember.
He does the talks. So we've got a couple of new toys to play with. You might have seen this one
What's
before.
that? You know,
This is Joe's.
and a little hatchet.
It's called an Estwing, which anybody that knows me knows that Estwing is Estwing or nothing. So this is called a Sportsman's axe. So it's got a belt loop on it, and I bought it for Jo, so when she's up in her medicinal herb garden, she can keep it on her belt, and then anytime she needs to chop something out of the way, she's got a suitable tool. So there's Estwing, and then there's his and hers, an Estwing log splitting maul. Now, I've had an axe most of my working life, and I've chopped logs not very often, and always ended up getting the axe head stuck. So until last year, I didn't realise that there was more than one type. So this is called a log splitting maul, and the shape of it is designed to split the logs. And what I was using was a felling axe, which is very thin and pointy, and just gets stuck in the logs. So there endeth the lesson on which axe I'm using. I'm using a log splitting maul. So
There's a lot of people use like a sledgehammer or a lump hammer, and then a thing called a grenade.
yeah, it
it's
looks like
that
a grenade.
shape.
Yeah,
So it's the best of both.
yeah,
You get the big swing, the heaviness, and it can split.
yeah. This one's a 6-pound. Says on there 6 pound. They do a 4, a 6, and an 8. So I thought I'll try the middle of the road. It is very sharp.
And then
But
I
it's,
come along with my little hatchet to make the kindling.
Make the kindling. So
That's the plan.
just gonna.
I'll just get out of your way.
Yes, you might want to pick the camera up as well, because the camera's very close.
Okay.
And you could also show the people at home the stack of wood that I've managed to gather. So I'm trying not to swing it too hard because I don't want the logs flying off here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, it's quite hard already because
Yeah, it was dead. It was stood there
dead a
as a
year.
dead tree. So,
Yeah, it's quite well seasoned already.
but it certainly takes no prisoners, the maul.
No, indeed, it's done a great job.
So I chopped a few last night and found that it doesn't take long to form quite a big pile of logs, which I was quite impressed about. And one log, one round, seems to make quite a lot of firewood. So last night I chopped up 2 rounds and lit the fire and didn't bother using any coal. And the fire stayed in all night with 1 little shovel full of coal. But the fire's been lit continuously for 24 hours from 2 of those. So
That's not bad.
yeah, and there's still some on the floor in there now drying in front of the range. So obviously this is not the finished setup. This is just chopping a few so that we got enough for a couple of days, and then over the course of the weekend I'm going to chop it all and stack it all, but that'll just be so repetitive, nobody's going to want to watch it. So as you can see, if you buy that in a shop, and it took no effort at all to make that, that would be in one netted sack in a shop, you'd probably be paying
About £6-7.
£5 or £6 for that much. So each one of those to us is worth £5 or £6. Obviously we got to chop it. So the efforts of what have I put into that? Those couple of trees, I suppose I put in about 12 hours, and we've got countless. Can't really count what's on there. But for each of these is a log, a bag of logs from the shop, local garage or whatever. So again, each one of those is worth £6 to us. Should we go and buy it from somewhere else? So that's the easiest £6 for ever.
Maybe a couple, because we would never buy just a small bag anyway. We should get a big one.
Yeah, we always buy a big one, but that big one we bought last time was £180.
For 1.5 tons.
Which is a lot, isn't it?
Yep.
No, this winter we've gone through 2 of those.
Yep.
So £360 worth of wood, and that's coal on top of that as well. We've probably gone through. Well, just burning money effectively. Whereas we're surrounded by trees, dead trees, fallen trees, trees and woodlands that need pollarding and coppicing, and so surprising how much one round makes up. Do you think they do steel thumb cap gloves?
I was just watching that manoeuvre and thinking,
Health and safety go mad, wouldn't they?
move your hand.
I've had quite a few injuries over the years, and it's taught me to keep your hands out the way at the last minute. So I'll get a nice big log set up. We got a cutting area set up, a long-term area with a wood store, and I've seen people. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name now. He uses an old conservatory to dry it, doesn't he?
Bruce, yeah, he put
Bruce.
together
Off-grid Bruce.
together a little setup.
Yeah, it's quite a cool setup. That uses the sun's rays then to dry it,
Yeah. So,
kiln dry it. So
well, you know, this end here of this shed catches the sun most of the day, and it'll be close enough for whenever we do move into the cow shed, but it's not too far away for whatever heat sources we use in there. That'll use a wood fire.
oh, there's a wheelbarrow full there already. I mean, that lasts us 24 hours, won't it?
No, more than that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get the heavier one.
Yeah, that one's quite heavy there.
Yeah. In
Quite
fact,
happy to just let it do its own work, isn't it?
yeah, it's nice to be able, you can see I'm not having to work hard. The weight of it, I think it's quite balanced, to be honest. And I'm sure we're going to come across timber that's nowhere near as easy to cut as this. I think that we've been spoilt with this.
Yeah, lucky, very lucky. Because we do have a load of oak ash that's been seasoned now 2 years.
Yeah.
I think we're going to struggle with it more.
But I think it doesn't get harder, and theoretically, if it's harder, it should split easier.
Nope. You'd think, but no. Ash, you cut it when it comes down, I believe. But, you know, somebody may well have much better information.
Yeah, if you have any
on that,
ideas
so if you
that
know,
are better
let us
than
know.
ours, then please leave us a comment.
Yep.
So if there's anybody watching that hasn't already hit the subscribe button, we would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It costs nothing, but it helps us out with the viewings. And if you find our content interesting, then hit the notification button as well, and then you'll be bye-bye. You'll be notified when the new videos come up. So we are trying to do one a week, but through the winter it's been difficult with the weather, so
Yeah, a lot easier now that we've got more friendly weather to work in.
yes. That beautiful building there is crying out for us to start on it.
Yeah, that's that.
But we had frost this morning, so that's the telltale sign that we're not quite there yet.
Ready yet.
We're very nearly there, and I cannot wait to start. I know there are other people's videos. There's a guy called Josh Harvey I watch on the YouTube, and he's laying stone walls every day at the moment. But he's been doing it for so long, he knows what to watch for, and the last thing I want to do is go into it and make mistakes.